Okay, so time to start. So happy to see you all. And I hope to take something that inspire you and use in one of your projects. So let's get started. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Once upon a metaverse language learning. As some of you know, I'm a language teacher. So this is what I love doing. Okay, I'm having trouble with my speakeasy, so that's why I'm going a little bit slow. So today I want to show you how storytelling, generative AI, and worlds can work together to create meaningful learning. Mhm. Before we talk about tools, I want to start with the stories. Stories still matter because they give language a human purpose. They add emotion, context, and meaning. In the digital spaces, students can do more than complete isolated exercises. They can create characters, imagine situations, and collaborate with others. AI help with ideas and drafting, but a story is what gives the work depth. The idea here is that learners become both authors and audiences of their own language journeys. So, before we start, we're going to have this little uh, time to talk a little bit about us. So I'm bringing you this task, and this task is called My Avatar Life. So what are you going to do now? And I want you to use the chat area of this, is to describe yourself as an avatar in one sentence. Your avatar name, what you look superpower your avatar has that you don't have in real life. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to. So right now, you should be all using your chat and write a little description about your avatar in one sentence. She wrote, a librarian who can jump and fly across the world to find people, places, and communities beyond books and print. Wow, there's a Hagen also. Besito de aquí. She just wrote when Wati, barefoot phrases and language code in the spirit of the barefoot college. Wow, those are great descriptions. Mm-hmm. Now I give you some of the examples. We got Molero in a jacket, in a leather jacket, and vintage boots. And my superpower is that I can teleport to any country in the world without jet lag or a vehicle. And then we have Francisco. Francisco wrote, so we go to Francisco. I'm Francisco Cohen, and I'm a brown haired middle aged man who loves to script in Second Life. Elena Kiama says, I'm Elena Kiama, a tall redhead and sometimes a silly kitten. who loves to build environments that inspire. Great descriptions, love them all. Hipasha is a teacher and biker's wife who lives for math, in spite of not being able to talk about it with my husband. Aquarius, Demi Moore says, my name is Denny Moore. I am an adventure explorer. My superpower is and never stop learning. Okay, you got it. So now it's time to read mine. Let's see if our speakeasy works. So I can tell you about mine. Um, so first, let me briefly introduce myself, just in case you don't know about me. I am Dr. Doris Molero. I'm an EFL teacher, teacher trainer, and a consultant. My work connects intercultural learning, AI storytelling, immersion, and learner creativity. My own experience in virtual communities has shaped the way I think about language, identity, and communication. So, what I'm sharing today comes from classroom practice and lived experience. So, not only in theory. About my life as an avatar, I could say that I'm Pionia Destiny, a storyteller in red with flowers, and a white dove as a companion. We wander through virtual worlds of educators and students, and my superpower is that. Okay, and now I have a new companion. This is Data A player character that is connected to really nice uh, tool or avatar to play with, practice with, and students just when they are by themselves can just be themselves and have a conversation and practice the language that they are learning. Okay, so now this is the roadmap for today. Let me see, where are we? First, we will look at why storytelling, AI, and virtual worlds will highlight a few tools, including generative, soon, because my students are online students. They are people that work and they don't have a lot of time to virtual world. So I take the virtual worlds to them. So it is very common that we have excursions in second is the tool that works as a bridge and connects study built around platform 21 in Second Life. That's the adventure that I'm going to tell you about today. Platform 21. So what is platform 21? It's coming. Okay, so let us move on, and I'm going to explain why are we using this. So in the digital age, language learning transforms from solitary study to collaborative creation, where AI becomes our storytelling companion, turning every conversation into a canvas and every learner into both author and audience of their own linguistic journey, as I said before. And for language educators, AI becomes this collaborative. We don't have a lot of time. We're always running. We have different classes with different levels, with different topics, and different necessities. So the different needs. So that's why AI becomes this wonderful companion that help our students and design according to what they really need. So this approach matters because immersive tasks create a real reason to use language. It is amazing how we are designing classes only just for the moment that we are in. If they need something at the moment, then we can have an answer. We don't have to wait we don't follow just a book or a lesson that was already designed. So we have the flexibility to go where we need to go. Instead of studying language in the abstract, learners use it to describe, infer, negotiate, role play, and create. So there are 5 main benefits here. The first benefit is immersive practice. Students engage in realistic scenarios for language use that go far beyond the textbook. Second life scenes give 3D context that makes vocabulary and grammar feel purposeful and alive. The second benefit that I could find was that AI support. Generative AI tools act as a personal tutor, generating characters, plot prompts, suggestions tailored to each student level and learning path in real time. This is one of the best parts because then we can have one story and this story be adapted to any level. So all of the students are talking about the same story, but each one of them. Third will be motivation. Learning becomes an adventure rather than a chore. When students are co-authoring stories and inhabiting avatars, engagement and intrinsic motivation rise dramatically. Fourth will be a creative expression. Students gain agency over the narrative, designing characters, building scenes, and writing continuations that make the language genuinely their own, not borrow from a textbook. So this, what we produce with the AI is a starting point. Okay, then the students don't, they are so busy after work that they don't have they cannot be creative. So we can scaffold and provide all the resources that we can, to help them get on the vibe of creating. And fifth, confidence. Virtual environments offer a safe space to experiment, make mistakes, and build communicative confidence without the fear of real-world judgment that silences so many language learners. So we get this low stakes rehearsal that makes speaking feel safer. Now, let me tell you about the tools. Okay, let's start with the generative AI first. So I'm going to say a few things about this. I see AI as a co-designer. It can help create prompts, characters, scripts, and language support, as I already said that. For example, it can generate character profiles, backstories, and dialogue starters. These tools are, as I told you before, is help students feel a little bit more comfortable and to be brave and go and try to create new stories. It can suggest plot ideas and possible conflicts. It can also provide vocabulary, sentence frames, and genre-specific language. This is especially useful for speaking preparation and creative writing. So this is how we can take advantage. Speaking is the most difficult part, and creating is very difficult too for them. At the same time, teacher review is essential. We still need to check level, fit, tone, and accuracy. So this is a teamwork. AI produces something, a teacher and adapt to what students really need. Okay, so those are the 5 benefits that I could find. Now, let me show you. Sorry about the speakeasy, it's not moving. Sometimes it gets stuck. Technology. Second Life, probably my connection. Okay, so we already talked about. There is a note card in this box that is next to Data AI, right in front of the fireplace. You can click a transcript of these presentations for you to read later. So feel free to click and get it. At the same time, this box is going to be useful for the second part of this presentation. Right now, we're going to talk about the theory, and I'm going to tell you what the story is about. But later on, we have a hand experience where you will be able to use AI tools. So I recommend you to come by and join us for the workshop later. So right now, here you can see how prompts can be adapted by proficiency level. 3 prompts, one for each level for different things. For example, and see what kind of characters you get. So all of these prompts are ready to use. And also we get another one for the intermediate level, and one for advanced level. So if you look at them, they are a little bit more difficult. And so we decide what kind of student we have at the moment, if we have a beginner, intermediate, or advanced student, and then AI is wonderful to adapt all of these prompts. This progression is useful because it helps us scale the same storytelling idea across different language levels. So now, here we have some of the tools that we use. Okay. Where they can act, explore, and interact as avatars. By using Zoom and bringing my students into the virtual world, they all get fascinated and they all get really enthusiastic about it. They love it because they have a better idea. We zoom in, zoom out with our with the camera, and we also use the chat area to interact, and they can see everything in the Zoom session. So language learning benefits from role play. When they are role playing, they can see the characters, and a scene building gives the story a visible context. Avatar interaction makes dialogue practice feel more social, and visual storytelling helps learner describe, infer, and imagine. So it's not the same as reading from a book. The chance to look at the character and zoom in on the details and look at how the stories matches the scene. It gives them a better understanding of the language. In other words, the environment itself becomes part of the lesson. Yes, and it's an area, an environment that allows them to ask questions, because then they get curious about something else and they start asking questions, and they engage and they practice and they learn and they have fun that way. Okay. Now, yes, as I was telling you about Zoom, becomes the vital function in this process, since the students cannot be in the virtual world. All of us know what are the limitations. Not every learning requires direct access to the virtual environment, thanks to screen sharing. Everyone is allowed to view the same scene simultaneously. The instructor can demonstrate navigation, interaction, or construction techniques. Participants can showcase their creation, and the class can engage in discussions around a shared virtual context. Sometimes we get lucky and some of the students can come in the world. Or when I'm teaching, when I'm sharing my experiences, and you educators with your avatars can come, you become students too. So you can go and experience better what's going on. Okay, where are we now? So in this way, Zoom transforms a solitary virtual classroom environment. Yes, since I'm the one that can come here and data AI sometimes is with me, but data at least can interact with the students also. Students are in Zoom and they ask questions. So I say, okay, what do you want to ask data about this? Or let's ask data what kind of questions can we ask? So they are fascinated by this. They just love it. So now let's move on to slide 12. And okay, where are we? It's difficult to follow the speakeasy and the slides. I'm not looking at the slides. Let me get closer to the slides so I can have a better view and see where we are now. So okay, so let me tell you about Platform 21. Our story takes place in a busy train platform. Some people are leaving, so some are waiting, some are dealing with difficult personal situations. How we got to this part? Let me tell you that one day, you always get this little present from different events. Once I got this backdrop on the quality of the textures and the scene was so nice that I said, wow, we can use this for us. So then that's how this happened. Um, I took a picture of this after I have completed with characters. I just placed some NPCs in the scene and I added the elements according to the scene. So this is a platform, people are leaving, they are going to take a train. So they need suitcases. And then I took a picture of that scene and I gave it to Claude. That's the AI that I use the most. So Claude came out with this story that it was so clear, so to the piece, how the AI had used the characters and their positions and their faces and the things that they were wearing and the elements in the place to create this story. So this is how these characters came alive, and then they have names. Okay, so where are we in the... So this scene is populated with diverse characters, each with their own life stories, such as Sarah, who faces the heart-wrenching decision of sending her children to live with their grandmother, and Thomas Mueller, who embarked on a journey to fulfill a promise to his late wife. Through these narratives, learners become both storytellers and audience members, crafting and interpreting stories that deepen their linguistic skills. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about this case. So what the students did and how we got to this point was like students first had to observe the platform and notice the characters, the objects, and the mood. This gives us an opportunity to start brainstorming and the teacher find out what kind of language they already managed to explain the situation. Also, we discuss possible relationships, conflicts, and backstories. This was before we read the story. So first we just start exploring. And then after generating the story with a screenshot, we compare it to the scene. So I got the student observing the scene, observing the characters, and being in Second Life was really good because we can zoom in on the characters, look at the expressions, and then compare it to what they were reading in their stories. Also, I had set different kinds of NPCs. We got scripted ones that just tell you a story, so that's good for students to read. And we got another character, Sarah, specifically, that is connected to AI. So students have the chance to ask questions and talk to the character. And so our lessons were designed around these specific situations, what kind of language they were supposed to use in a situation like she was at the moment. Finally, we write or adapt a new story for a different level, genre, and audience. Yes, I got the chance to get that story and then adapt it for a lower level, and we follow the same experience. The students got the vocabulary that they needed to feel safe and to feel brave and to participate and ask questions. Yes, this sequence works well because it moves from observation to interpretation and to production. That's what we wanted. Okay. One of the most interesting parts of the process was comparing AI output with the actual scene. Students took the screenshot and asked the AI tool to generate a story. So we did the same thing in class. Okay, where are we now? I designed Google the activities so the students could work with the scene from Second Life and discuss, and at the same time create a new story. That was when we compare the two stories, then the scene in Second Life and the story, we ask questions like, well, what did it miss? What did it invent? So as you can see, this is a very creative way. Create rich language work. Students discuss evidence, revise writing, and make creative decisions. That was my experience. We enjoy it. I particularly enjoy a lot during these experiences with different students. I teach one-on-one, so we had all the time to dedicate to what the student needed and the chance for them to practice. This Google Doc worksheet that we created extended the activity with a study structure, vocabulary, and comprehension task. The AI support the NPC let learners ask questions and continue the stories through dialogue. A tool like Gemini can also turn a narrative into a multimodal storybook, including simpler versions for lower proficiency learners. We did that as a follow-up, and as another way to try another tool. So one scene can generate many kinds of learning materials. From these, and again, this is what we're going to see in the workshop, because each one of you is going to use different prompts and all of you are going to get different answers. So we're going to have a lot of stories and a lot of possibilities, and also the student will have the chance to be themselves and ask their own questions and create their own produce something that is unique for them. Okay, we did this now. Let me tell you about um, what we learned, the lessons we learned from conversing with the AI characters. You know, because when I planned the lesson, I decided the lesson. Uh, I got a lot of results, you know, in paper that looked really good. But then when we were on, it's like right now, preparing this presentation in a virtual world, I got everything like cover, but then technology and the outcomes. So, but that's good, you know. If I prepared this note card, I was supposed to read from it, but then as I cannot control how the tools work, I had to be myself. And that happens to students too. Um, we got these points like clarity of everything. When we're talking with the NPCs, when we are using AI, this is something new. We had a script that we found in the marketplace. Um, Probably this was made at the beginning when AI started. So right now, I'm sure that we could find better ways to have it. Something that is a script that is not open, so I cannot change it. So this is how it works. Not the best. It's interesting because it produces learning opportunities when something doesn't work and when we had to find a way to make it work, or at least try to understand how to improve it. As I said here, each exchange became a lesson in crafting precise content-rich questions, and that was the important thing. Interacting with Sarah and her children, when we were interacting with Sarah and her children, we analyzed not just the AI responses, but our own communication patterns and how to refine them. Yes, because this was a very special situation. She was in a very special moment of her life, so we need to learn how to ask the proper questions. So as you can see, this is on the vocabulary is about how to communicate in the best way, you know. So this it's interesting because sometimes people in different cultures communicate in different ways. So researching and asking the AI for help, we could have like better ways to approach it. So true fluency means navigating the subtle art of communication, reading between the lines, adjusting tone, and learning from miscommunication. That's what happened to us. Also, this is a mirror for real world communication. Adapting the AI became a metaphor for cross-cultural flexibility, empathy, and style switching are essential across any context. So AI became this mirror for language communication and cross-cultural fluency. Okay, let's move on. Let me get to the part in the speakeasy where you can find these links, so you can have a